Okay, so fire away.
Do you think the team's ready, Coach?
Not yet. We've got till noon on Saturday, and so we've still got some things we've got to get done in the meeting room, and then tomorrow come out with the and get our final walkthrough. But I believe that we're where we should be at this point in time. I like the mindset. I like the focus. I like the way they practice. But we've got to. I've always believed that you can only say you're ready when the game's over. You got to play through the game. You got to keep getting ready the whole game. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to create that mindset. It's kind of a sense of urgency, So that's what we're trying to do.
Did he say anything to you guys in the huddle?
He did. He spoke to the team, and it was great. It was great to hear from him and his message to these players. Put really only as a player can put it. A guy that's very well respected in the league, has attained a lot of success, is a UCLA alum. Played here and had success. He's just an impressive guy. And I think what stands out is that, he's a guy that always had great belief in his ability, worked hard, and his heart just takes up his whole freaking chest, and that's one of the reasons that he's so great. And just some of the things he said to the guys were, I think, pretty right on, and I think hit home with them.
Coach, you've talked a lot about overcoming adversity and going through hard times and bouncing back. How hard is it to have that message stay maintained after? I mean, obviously you had Oregon State, lost, came back, bounced back. So after losing this last week, how does that maintain?
Well, that's life. I mean, you can either lay down and quit or you can keep fighting. That's not just sports, that's life. And I just believe you don't learn how to overcome adversity unless you hit adversity. And this won't be the only adversity these guys hit in their life, nor will it be the only adversity they hit this season. So it's got to be a constant message. You just keep fighting. Think about an athlete like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan missed 26 game-winning shots in his career. He lost over 300 games. You think a couple other things, but I know he missed 26 game-winning shots. Everyone remembers the great things he did, and that was just a mindset to keep going, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep trying, keep persevering. And we just got to continue to try to build that mindset with these guys. So, you hate to lose, but in a loss, great lessons can be learned that serve these kids later in life.
What kind of running back and what kind of challenge does John White present to you?
He's a good running back. There's a good offense. When you've got, I talked about the receivers the other day. They've got a good group of receivers in that tight end. They've got 5 receivers that we think are really good receivers. So when you put a running back in the backfield that's also very capable, okay, or you put a quarterback in the backfield that's very capable of running, and you're trying to play coverage, it just makes things a little bit more difficult. When you get yourselves in a run defense and they throw it, you're a little bit of a disadvantage. When you put yourself in a pass defense, in a what did I just say first? A run defense and they throw it? Yeah, a pass defense and they run it. It's the same thing, So it's kind of a game of chess because every defense has its weakness, And we've just got to make sure we play fundamentally sound and play hard and get off blocks and attack and tackle and do the things we're capable of doing.
You mentioned with Darius Bell being out, Devin Fuller's role would increase.
Mm-hmm.
Is that within the 20-play frame, or would he see more playing time? Or
potentially could see more. I think a lot of it has to do with how we're doing, what we're doing, how the game's going, how he's playing. Is he capturing the concepts we want him to capture and being able to execute them? If anyone else is playing well, how they're playing us, all those types of things. But I wouldn't want to limit it at 20. If he's showing that he can handle the competition at this level at this point in his career, only 2 games in, and he's doing good things, and we're going to make sure we keep getting him on the field. The 20-play thing was really kind of before Darius, not before Devin, in addition to Devin, and kind of with Jerry last week being a little bit dinged up. He's better this week. But if we could get him 20 snaps, 25 snaps, I think that'd be great.
How's you looking to in terms of how he runs routes and
good?
Because he's never played receiver before.
I know, and you really wouldn't notice it, at least in practice, because he's very athletic. And I think just, kind of maybe like Darius. Darius was a quarterback who had an understanding of route concepts and and zones and where to sit down and how to find openings. And I think you see a little bit of that with Devin. You know, he's thrown a lot of passes to guys running routes, so I think maybe that has helped him translate into running routes the right way. But he's still learning. I mean, he's really learning. It's only been, we had 3 practices this week, and I think he worked 2 practices last week at receiver, so he's had 5 practices there. But for 5 practices, he's done well. He's very athletic.
How's Jordan Payton done this week? How has he advanced, like, let's say, in the last week or so?
Just, you know what, since day one when he came out here, he never looked like a freshman. You know, he's physically mature, and he's emotionally mature, and he handles it well. Now, he's still going to get into games and see things that he hasn't seen before. You know, every week, that's kind of the challenge with playing young players, is they just don't have the experience to recognize things and adjust as quickly as you think an older guy would have. They just haven't seen as much. So that's really kind of the only challenge with Jordan, because physically he's mature, emotionally and mentally he's mature, and he's got a lot of confidence. I love the way he plays the game. I think the guy's going to be, I think he's a good receiver, and I think he's going to be a darn good receiver here eventually.
How do you think Torian's bounced back this past week?
Well, from what I've seen, in practice and just being around him in the meetings, he comes up to the offices every day and watches film between classes. I would say, well, but the proof is in the pudding. We'll see when he lines up on Saturday afternoon where he is. I think that he was bothered by his knees, but beyond that, he knows he's capable of playing better than he did, and I think that he takes a lot of pride in that. And, he's still a young guy, and he's going. It was a tough week for him, but I've been impressed with the way he's bounced back. At least emotionally, and the way he's practiced. So hopefully that translates into good play on Saturday.
Is there an update on Greg Capella?
He's still out. He's got it's a concussion, and he's still symptomatic. And we've kind of kept him away from the team just because when he sits in meetings and he has to focus, it's difficult on him right now. So we'd rather him spend that energy that it takes to focus in school, and do those things. So we want to give him a break. Anytime a guy gets hurt, they feel like they're letting their teammates down, and he's not letting his teammates down. He's got a head injury. He can't control that. He can't control the way it heals. You don't tough out head injuries. A guy gets a bruise, or he gets a sprain, or he gets a nick. Sometimes you say tough it out. Play through the pain, but you don't play through head injuries. So we're just going to be very, very, very safe with those things and make sure they're okay. They got a life to live, and it ain't worth it. So. Okay? That it?
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.